So, hi everyone. So, in our last presentation session, we covered file permissions. So, in file permission, I covered what do you mean by file permission? What are all the three different category of users who can access files? It can be owner, it can be group, and it can be others. So, each of the category of user will be having three different permissions, that is read, write, and execute. So if I want, I can set permission for all these three category of users individually, separately as I want. There are two ways in which you can set your file permission. The two different ways were relative manner and the next one was absolute manner. So in relative manner we saw, so it was with respect to existing permission. That is, if you know the current permission, you can make the changes to those current permission. Whereas in an absolute manner, you will be specifying you will be entering the permission explicitly. There is no need to know the current permission. So how we can change the file permission using absolute manner, that we are going to see in this particular presentation session. As you can see here, in absolute permission, that is when you are changing the permission of a file in absolute manner, there is no need to know the current file permission. We can set all the 9 permission explicitly. Why 9 permission? Because there are 3 category of users: owner, group, and others. For each category, there are 3 permission: read, write, execute. So totally 3 into 3, that will be equal to 9 permission. All those 9 permission can be set explicitly. So how we can set those 9 permission explicitly without knowing the current file permission? We are going to make use of a string of 3 octal digits. A string of 3 octal digits. So that will be used to set up the file permission for all the 3 category of users. The permission will be represented by 1 octal digit for each category. That means first octal digit will be for the owner, second octal digit will be for the group, and the third octal digit will be for others. We will be using 3 octal digit in order to specify the file permission for the 3 category of users. For each category, we will be adding the octal digits. If we represent the permission of each category by 1 octal digit, this is how the permission can be represented. As you can see here, if I just mention 4 as my octal digit, then that particular user will be having only the read permission. So octal andre nanu 3 bits use ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. So 001 1 2 4 ನಿಮಗಾಗಲೇ ಗೊತ್ತು binary representation 1 2 4. So 4 ಅಂತ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆ octal digit ಕೊಟ್ರೆ that means that category of user is only having read permission. ಅದೇ 2 ಅಂತ ಏನಾದ್ರು octal digit ಕೊಟ್ರೆ that user will be having only the write permission. 1 ಅಂತ octal digit ಕೊಟ್ರೆ that category of user will be having only the execute permission. So you might have guessed already. If I give 5 anta kotre, that user will be having read and execute permission. 5 kotre. Suppose ellanu 1 madbitre, that means that category of user will be having all the 3 permission, that is read, write, and execute. All the 3 permission will be available, will be allocated to that particular category of user. So this is the table. As you can see here, if you are giving 0 as the octal digit, that means you are not allocating any permission for that particular category of user. If you are using 1 as the octal digit, you are giving only the executable permission. 2 as the octal digit, you are giving only the write permission. If 3 is the octal digit, you are giving, then you are giving write and execute. If 4 is the octal digit, only read permission. If 5, then read and execute. If 6 is the octal digit you are using, then read and write. If 7 is the octal digit you are using, then that means you are giving all the 3 permissions: read, write, and execute. So totally we are having 3 category of users and also 3 permissions: read, write, and execute. So we need 3 octal digit to describe the file permission completely. So 1 octal digit will be for 1 category of user. So 3 octal digit na mention ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು octal digit ಒಂದೊಂದು category of user ಗೆ permission ನ ಕೊಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮೊದಲನೇ octal digit will give permission for owner, second octal digit will give permission for group, the third octal digit will give permission for others. That is what has been mentioned here. The most significant digit, that is the leftmost part irutta, that will represent user andre owner, and the least one right side or rightmost part iruttala, that will represent others. Here also we will be using the command called a chmod, but instead of using changing the file permission in a relative manner, relative andre existing file permission na reference agi itkondo change ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ relative manner ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Whereas in absolute manner you will be won't keeping the reference of existing permission. So explicit agi ನೀವು for file permission na change ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ using octal digit, 3 digit string na ಒಂದು expression ಆಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. 3 digit ಏನಕ್ಕೆ, ಮೊದಲನೇ ಡಿಜಿಟ್ ಆಕ್ಟಲ್ ಡಿಜಿಟ್ ಓನರ್ ಗೆ, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆಕ್ಟಲ್ ಡಿಜಿಟ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಗೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಕ್ಟಲ್ ಡಿಜಿಟ್ ಬಂದು ಅದರ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಸೊ ನೌ ವಿ ಶಾಲ್ ಸಿ ಸಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಹೌ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ file permission in absolute manner. So once you understand the examples, you will get an idea of changing the file permission in absolute manner. So as we had already seen in our previous presentation session, we can change the relative file permission in relative manner as follows. chmod ಅಂತ ಕಮಾಂಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ 3 categories, ಯೂಸರು, ಗ್ರೂಪ್, ಅದರ್ಸ್. ಮೂರು ಜನಕ್ಕೂ ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಫೈಲ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ರೀಡ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ರೈಟ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ 3 users I am giving read and write permission for this particular file. This adds read write to user, group and others. Now we shall see how this can be achieved in absolute manner. Absolute manner ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಅಚೀವ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋಣ. Using absolute permission, this can be done as below. As you can see here, you are giving read and write. For read and write, what will be the octal digit? 6 is the octal digit. ನೋಡಬಹುದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ 6 octal digit. So that's why ನಾನು chmod 666 ಅಂತ 3 ಸಲ ಬರೆದಾಗ, so all 3 category 666. So ಇದು 6, first 6 ಬಂದು it will be for owner, second one is for group and the last one is for others. So that means we will be giving read and write permission for all the 3 category of users for this particular file exstart. So next ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಆ ಸೇಮ್ ಫೈಲ್ exstart ಗೆ 6 ರಿಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ read and write permission is retained. Whereas for group 6 ಬದಲು 4 ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. 4 ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? 4 is only read permission. That means group people ಗೆ only read permission ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. Execute permission ನ write permission ನ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿ only I am giving the read permission. As you can see here, 4 octal digit ಏನಿದೆ that will give only the read permission, whereas 6 will give read and write. So 4 anta kottaga only read permission will be given for group and others. That is what has been stated here. It will remove the write permission from group and others. So we shall see one more example here. As you can see here, chmod 761. What does this indicate? 7 andre when the octal digit is 7, that means you are giving all the 3 permission. All the 3 permissions are given for the owner. Ella 3 permission owner kottidini, 6 na group kottidini. 6 andre you are giving read and write permission to the group, and last one is 1 kottidini. 1 eno execute permission, you are giving the execute permission for the others. So this is how you can allocate file permission in an absolute manner. That is what has been stated here. This will assign all permission to the owner, read and write permission for the group, and only execute permission to others. So if you are giving 777, chmod 77 andre, that signifies you are giving all permission to all category of users. Read, write and execute na ella category of users ko permission kodta idira. So but still we can prevent that particular file from getting deleted. You ಕೇಳಬಹುದು, sir, we have given all the permissions to all this category of users. If suppose any other person who is not in the group, who is not the owner, if he deletes a file, it can be deleted, right? Then how it can be prevented from getting deleted? Andre, there will be directory permission. So that directory permission will be overriding the file permission. So if directory permission ಏನಾರೋ write permission ನ ನೀವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನಿಮ್ದು ಅದರ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, they cannot delete a file. Similarly, ಎಲ್ಲಾ category of users ಗೂ 0 ಕೊಟ್ರೆ, this signifies absence of all permission for all 3 category of users. You are not giving any permission to any category of users. If you are not giving any permission to any category of users, then that means we cannot delete a file anta ನೀವು ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. But it can be deleted because that permission will be overridden by the directory permission. So that is what has been stated. It is the directory permission that determine whether a file can be deleted or not. Your directory permission will always override your file permission. So who can change the file permission? Sorry, yaar bekaru file permission na change madboda? No, the answer is no. Only the owner. The first category user enidane, owner enidane, he is the only person who can change the file permission. No other user will be given permission to change the file permission. The authority to change file permission. Only your owner can change the file permission. But if you are logging in as system administrator, root login enaru agidre, super user agi enaru login agidre, then you can change the file permission. So these are all the things you need to remember with respect to changing of file permission in an absolute manner. So in our previous presentation session, we saw how we can change file permission in a relative manner. That means we were keeping the existing file permission as reference, then we were changing the file permission. But in absolute manner, we won't be keeping the existing file permission as reference. Rather, we will be changing the file permission explicitly. How we are changing? With the help of octal digit. Each octal digit will be used for one category of user. So totally we need 3 octal digit to allocate file permission for all the 3 category of users. However, your file permission can be overridden by the directory permission. That is what has been explained here with some examples. Now we shall try to wrap up this particular session with the last 2 topics, directory permission and some security implications with respect to file permission. Also, how we can use the command chmod recursively. So that means it will be kept on calling itself. Recursion andreno, a function which keeps calling itself. So adagade call marta execute agta irutte. That how that will happen with the help of chmod command, that we shall see in this particular topic. Some of the security implications you might see with respect to file permission enu andre, we shall understand that security implication with this example. So let us start with a file called as exstart. This particular file is having the default permission as given below. That is, you are giving read and write permission for the owner, only the read permission for your group and others. Now what I am doing, I am trying to remove the read and write permission from the user. I am trying to remove the read permission from group and others for this particular file exstart. This can also be done in an absolute manner, like giving 3 octal digits as 0. That means you are removing all the permission for all the 3 category of users. Then the output you will be getting is this. That means there are no permissions given to all the 3 category of users. Even though you are not giving any file permission to all the 3 category of users, the file can still be deleted. Why? Because your directory permission will override. So you should make sure that your directory permission matches with your file permission. So others to directory permission should be set in such a way that it is providing utmost security. So utmost security kodo tara im directory permission na set ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. One more example we shall see here. So you are trying to allocate all the 3 permission, read, write and execute, to all the 3 category of users. This can be done in an absolute manner by giving the octal digit as 777. This will allocate all the 3 permission to all 3 category of users. Even though you are giving all the 3 permission to all 3 category of users, the file still cannot be deleted because this permission can be overridden by your directory permission. In such a case, your file cannot be deleted even if your file permission gives the opportunity for the others to delete this particular file. So this should not happen. That's why you should make sure that your directory permission should be set accordingly with the file permission in such a way that it is providing utmost security. So these are the things you need to remember with respect to security implications whenever you are setting a file permission for a particular file using relative or absolute manner. So your chmod command can also be used recursively. So that means I'm inside a current directory. I'm inside one particular directory. I want to apply file permission for all the files present inside my current directory. Nan current directory ಒಳಗೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ files ಇದೆ, for all those files I need to apply file permission. So how I can do? That can be done with the help of an option. So your chmod command comes with an option called as -r. So if you are using this -r option, then shell scripts anta en directory ide, inside that directory which are all the files and subdirectories that are present, for all those files and subdirectories inside shell script directory, for that you are giving the execute permission for all the users. Ella users kuno you are giving the execute permission. This makes all the files and subdirectories found inside the shell script directory to be executable by all three category of users. That means your -r option en madutte, it will be applied recursively to all the files and subdirectories present inside your shell script directory. ಶೆಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ಬರುವಂತ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಸಬ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರೀಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫೈಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿಗೆ ರಿಕರ್ಸಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕೆಟಗರಿ ಆಫ್ ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ ಗೂ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ನ ಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. And also you can make use of meta characters whenever you are allocating file permission. This is an example. So as you can see here, you are giving permissions such as 755. So yavella files ಗಳು dot, that means dot andre it will cover all the files present in the home directory. So you have moved from the current working directory to home directory. Yavado present working directory inda home directory ge move agidini. Inside home directory, if you want to allocate file permission for all the files and subdirectories, then you can use these two meta characters. Iderdu meta characters use ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. If you are using dot as the meta characters, then it will consider all the files, even the hidden files will also be considered. So ಎಲ್ಲ ಫೈಲ್ಸ್ ಸಬ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರೀಸ್ ಗೂ ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ನ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕೆಟಗರಿ ಆಫ್ ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ ಗೂ ಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. Suppose if you are using star as the meta character, then it won't consider your hidden files. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಡಾಟ್ ಇಂದ ಶುರುವಾಗುವಂತ ಫೈಲ್ಸ್ ನು ಸಹ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. So this is a disadvantage when you are using the meta character called as star. That means ಎಲ್ಲ category of user gu you are giving execute permission for all the files and subdirectories present inside home directory, but this won't include the files which are hidden, and also it won't include files whose file name starts with dot. So it's a disadvantage. So it's better to use dot if you want to allocate file permission for all the files. Even it can be hidden files or it can be files starting with dot. So elladukku permission allocate ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ dot meta character is suitable. So these are the things you need to remember with respect to using chmod command recursively. So this completes how you can change file permission. So you can change the file permission by default to en permission irutte annadna you can check using umask command. So if you want to change the file permission, there are two ways: relative and absolute manner. In relative manner, category ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಯೂಸರ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅದರ್ಸ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಏನಿತ್ತು ಅದನ್ನ ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ. Whereas in absolute manner, you will be using the octal characters in order to allocate file permission. Octal characters na use ಮಾಡಿ file permission allocate ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. But there are some security implications. That means your file permission will be overridden by the directory permission. So you should set your directory permission in such a way you are providing utmost security to all the files and subdirectories present inside your directory. And also you can use your chmod command recursively whenever you are allocating permission to all files and subdirectories present inside a directories. So the last topic for this particular presentation session is directory permission. So directory permission agale nan previously int kottidini how it works ante. It is possible that a file cannot be accessed even though it has read permission. The file ge read permission ide, but you are not able to access that particular file. Why? Because you have in directory permission read permission na kottiralla. That means your directory permission will be overriding the file permission. Similarly, even if your file is write protected, it can be removed. Nan file na write protect ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ, remove ಮಾಡಬಾರದು ಅಂತ, but still you can remove a file which is write protected. How it is possible? Because at the directory level ನೀವು write protection ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರಲ್ಲ. So that's why the directory permission will always influence your ordinary file permissions. ಯೂಶುವಲ್ ಒಂದು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರಿ ನ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ there will be some default permission for a particular directory. That default permission is as stated below. That means for the owner you are giving all the three permission. For group and others you are giving only the read and execute permission. Group matte others ke bari read execute permission na kodta idira. A directory must never be writable by group and others. That's why default again irutte, you will be giving only the read and execute. So write permission na you are not giving write permission for group and others. So default agi one directory create madida takshana this will be the permission that will be allocated for that particular directory. Now we shall see some examples with respect to directory permission. First I am creating a directory called as cprox. Now I am checking the directory permission. So yavadaru one directory do attributes na list ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ you need to use your ls command, but it is just not enough to use -l option. Along with -l you need to use d. So -ld ಅಂತ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರಿ ಏನ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಿರಾ ಆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರಿಗೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಅಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. So as you can see here, ಇಲ್ಲಿ owner ಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಎಲ್ಲಾ permissions na ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ, whereas for group and others only read and execute permissions have been given. If a directory has write permission for group and others, then you should be assured that every user can remove every file in the directory. Correct ತಾನೆ? So ನೀವೇನೋ write permission na particular directory ಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ for group and others, then that particular group and others ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋ individual they can remove the file present inside a directory. Why? Your directory permission will override file permission. So that's why as a rule, as an universal rule, you should always make sure that you are not giving write permission to a directory for group and others. That is what has been stated here. So always you should give the write permission only for the owner, whereas the write permission should not be given for group and others, especially when it comes with respect to a directory. ಏನಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ ರೀಸನ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ you can give write permission for group and users with respect to directory. Otherwise you should not give write permission for group and others with respect to a directory. So these are all the things you need to remember with respect to file attributes and permission. So this presentation was covered in 3 classes. So in our first class we saw how ls command works, how ls command can be used to list the file present in a current working directory, how we can list the attributes of all the files in the present working directory with the help of -l option, how we can list the attributes of directories with the help of -ld option. Then we saw what are file permission. Then we saw how we can change file permission, that is with the help of relative manner and with the help of absolute manner. Then we saw the security implications with respect to file permission. Lastly, we saw how we can use directory permission, how it will override the permission of a file present inside that particular directory. So watch all your presentation session. So this is quite interesting. The coming topics will be quite interesting. So make sure you maintain continuity with respect to every presentation session. Don't skip any of the presentation session. If you are getting any doubts with respect to any of the presentation session so far covered, you can ping me with respect to your doubts. Thank you.